Hey, cheers, everybody. Welcome back. This is Good Bets, Good Times. I am your host, Nate with NT Sports. And today's going to be a fun episode. I know last week we talked all about the AFC championship picture. And this week we're jumping over to the NFC. Breaking down the top contenders, why we think they can win it, what could trip them up, and of course, where we're leaning from a betting perspective. So thanks for joining us. And if you are new here, welcome. A little bit of background. This isn't your standard sports betting style podcast. We're not yelling hot takes. We're not guaranteeing locks. We're not touts. We're not selling picks. We're just here to help you bet smarter, understand the market, try to enjoy the ride along the way. No bullshit, just good bets, good times. All right. So if you're into that, stick around. Before we get started, of course, quick favor. If you are enjoying the show, if you could do us a solid rate and review the podcast, it definitely helps us grow this thing and helps keep it going. We're on episode 11 now at this point. And we plan on sticking around for the long haul. So, and also don't forget to check out In the Green, our weekly newsletter. Comes out on Thursdays. We have some good info in there and any bets we're eyeing up for the weekend. Coach's Corner, so some betting strategy tips and tricks to help you throughout the season. And then lastly, feel free to connect with us on all of the social media platforms, ntsports.bio on most of those. And all of our links you can grab at ntsports.bio. So awesome. What's been going on? Yeah, we had preseason football kickoff last week. Hall of Fame game. And we got a bet down. It was a close call, not going to lie. I was traveling for work. I was about to get on a plane. And having some Wi-Fi issues. I managed to get into one of my betting accounts and I found a number that I wanted to get on, and we locked it in and it won. So, hey man, we're off to a hot start. We will take it. We'll take it. Oh, and by the way, what did we bet? We locked in the Los Angeles Chargers first half. We got it at plus 0.5, plus half a point. Juiced up minus 141. And really just come down to, as I mentioned last week on the podcast, this is an information game. It's a little bit easier when there's only one game in the entire week. You can really dive into what the coaches are saying and what the plans are for how these players are going to be rotated in. But looking at the quarterback situation, it was simply a play on Trey Lance versus whoever the Lions wanted to throw out there, knowing that the Lions planned all along not to put in any of their significant players, especially high draft picks, starters, etc. And we just had a lean towards the Chargers winning the game, but also winning the first half. And to be honest, I wasn't going to put my money on. I knew DJU was going to be playing the second half. Not going to go there. Just wanted to get in, get that first half win, and get out. And that's what we did. So that's how we're going to approach the preseason betting market. There's a full slate of games this week. There's a lot to dive into. The lines are moving really quick. So some of the value are already gone if you didn't jump on some of these things right away. We have not yet, full transparency. I don't know if we will or what we're going to get down on, but we'll be sure to send out in the newsletter, post on the socials, whatever we're eyeing up. And then, of course, follow us on the Action Network app. All of our picks are posted in real time. I put notes with all the rationale behind it. So if I don't get around to actually posting on socials, or if it doesn't make the newsletter or the podcast, then for sure you'll catch it as soon as it drops in the app. Also, we did lock in a futures bet after the show last week. So we broke down the AFC and we had a few leans, but the one bet that we really liked at the number, and I believe you still might be able to find it, is the Chargers to win the AFC at plus 1,400. We gave our full rationale behind that. You can check out the clips on our social platforms. Check out the podcast from last week, and as I mentioned, follow in the Action app. But Chargers plus 1,400 locked in to win the AFC. We liked it. down to about plus 1,100. And we're jumping on the Chargers bandwagon this year. We're following Harbaugh. We're following Justin Herbert. We like the momentum of this team, the culture they're building. And if any team can make a run in the AFC outside of the big three, then I think it's got to be the Chargers. So check out the episode last week if you want more on that. And yeah, let's dive into the NFC, shall we? So the NFC is fun. It's a fun conference because it's compared to the AFC. To me, it's a lot more wide open. It's not nearly as top heavy. Meaning in the AFC, you have your Chiefs and Mahomes. You have Bills and Josh Allen. You have your Ravens, Lamar Jackson. You have a number of other elite quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, and then some guys that are close, not quite elite, but still pretty damn good. And Justin Herbert, C.J. Stroud. NFC, it's a little more wide open. There are some really good quarterbacks in the NFC as well. We know what Jalen Hurts did last year for the Eagles. You have your Jordan Loves, Jared Goff, solid. Brock Purdy just got paid in the offseason, very solid. But really nobody in that that elite top tier in the NFC that you have to worry about. So starting from the top, obviously the number one favorite in the betting market today is the Philadelphia Eagles. This number ranges from plus 300 to plus 340. Our price, obviously, the Eagles are going to be a little overvalued coming in the season as the defending Super Bowl champions. We got them at plus 365. We're going to be staying away for right now. We're a little off that price at this point. But why will this team win the NFC and potentially the Super Bowl? Well, I mean, the playoff experience from last year is one thing. And just the overall roster, there are very, very few weaknesses on this Philadelphia Eagles team. We know how good they are in the trenches. Offensive line is the best, if not at least top 2, top 3 in the entire league. Defensive line, linebackers. If there is a slight weakness, maybe it's the secondary. They did lose Darius Slay, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Got some young guys who are going to need to step up and take next big steps forward in their second year. But, I mean, starting with the offense, we know Jalen Hurts. This dude is poised. He's calm, cool, collected. He's a leader on this side of the ball. He has the weapons. A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. You got Saquon right behind him, behind one of the best offensive lines in the game. They control games from the line of scrimmage. They did lose, as I mentioned, a couple of veterans on the defense side of the ball, but they did retain DC Vic Fangio, which I believe is a huge part of their Super Bowl run last year. So that continuity there is pretty important. Sirianni overall, I mean, I think he solidified himself last year as a top-tier coach in the league. Philly fans gave him a lot of shit the past couple seasons, rightfully so, but he showed up and got that ring. I think Nick Sirianni is going to be sticking around for a while. And looking at the schedule, I mean, yeah, outside of Week 2, when they go on the road to the Chiefs, they're small dog there. And then end of the year, also on the road to Buffalo, also small dog. Outside of that, they're going to be favored in most games. You'll hear this stat thrown around a lot, but no NFC East team has won the conference in back-to-back years since 2004, and that was the Eagles. And I think if a team could do it, it definitely is this Philly team. But this conference is wide open once again. The Eagles are the favorite, and rightfully so. Just some negatives, and really, man, it's really hard to pick this team apart and find true weaknesses. But the schedule is going to be more difficult this year. Looking at overall strength of schedule, where they're sitting about 29th in the league if you base it off of forecasted win totals for this year. And then just the strength of the defenses that they're going to play is also across the board much more difficult than last year. And they brought in another new OC too. Kellen Moore went down to New Orleans. They promoted Kevin Patullo to take over the offensive coordinator position. And this is the fourth year in a row they've had a new offensive coordinator on this team. Didn't affect them last year. Obviously, they brought in a veteran and Kellen Moore. So, hey, man, at some point that could catch up to this team. We're getting really nitpicky here, trying to find some weaknesses for the Eagles. They will need to rely on some younger guys to step up, especially in the secondary, some rookies they drafted last year. And then, I mean, to be honest, Jalen Hurts will still need to continue to improve as a passer. They face more difficult pass defenses this year. And overall, really good borderline great all-around quarterback, very clutch, but at the same time, his efficiency as a passer is not where it needs to be to put him in that elite top tier of NFL quarterbacks. But with that being said, with the Eagles, it's a stay away just because of the price at this point. It could be a team. They do have a difficult road early on in the season. They could drop a couple games. And if you like the Eagles, depending on how the rest of the NFC is playing out at the time, it could be a good opportunity to jump on this team at a better number after a few weeks of the season. Number 2, the Detroit Lions. Odds right now ranging anywhere from plus 450 to plus 525. Win totals at under 10.5. We already talked about in an episode about a month ago how they were one of our early bets on the win total. Win total, we got it under 10.5 at minus 110. Lions moved a bit. It's juiced up to the under now. And we project them just under 10 wins at 9.9 wins. So for the price at the time, we saw some value there. And really, I love this Lions team, not going to lie. I'm not a hater on the Lions at all, but at the same time, losing both coordinators is tough. They did bring back John Morton, who was passing coordinator in 2022, at the past couple of years with the Broncos to lead the offense. And then DC, Kelvin Shepard, so promoted from within there. He was a linebacker coach last year. They do face a very difficult schedule, third most difficult schedule in the league. And really for this team to make a run and win the NFC and finally get over the hump, it's going to come out of the defense. I mean, I don't think they'll miss much of a beat with the new OC coming in. But defensively, good news is they do get Aiden Hutchinson back. It's definitely going to help the pass rush. They had a DJ Reed to bolster the secondary. The pass defense was third worst in the league last year in giving up explosive plays. And obviously we saw how that killed them in the divisional round last year against the Commanders. And also offensive line. Their offensive line, not going to lie, it's still going to be pretty solid. They did lose a couple of veterans. Frank Ragnow retired, and then Kevin Zeitler also left. I believe went to Tennessee. So lost a little bit of continuity there in the offensive line. And really what it comes down to for me is, once again, the price. So we have them closer to 580, plus 580 to win the NFC. So best you can get is 525. Still a little inflated because they are the Lions. Would not surprise me if they made a run, especially if they improve on the defensive side of the ball. With this offense, we know they can score with anybody. They're super efficient. They have the two-headed monster, Montgomery, Gibbs at running back. They have weapons at the wide receiver position. Laporta playing tight end. Really good offensive line. They do have rest advantages throughout the season in their favor, even with the difficult schedule. They can avoid the injury bug and they can stay healthy. This team could make a run, but like I said, so right now for us, stay away. We're going to stay away. And early season schedule is not terrible, but once again, it could be one that you could jump in mid to late season, kind of see how the NFC is playing out, but not what we're buying on right now. So stay away, potentially wait for the Detroit Lions. Number 3, San Francisco 49ers. So this is a very, very interesting team. We know what happened last year. This team was depleted by injuries, both sides of the ball, but they come back this year and they're the third favorite to win the AFC at this point at plus 750 up to plus 950. And we have them closer to plus 1100. I think even this is still, all the value is gone here. Are the favorites as well to win the NFC West, and win totals at 10.5. We have them at 10 wins, but I think our projections could be a little low here. So that's not one that I want to touch just because there's such a high variance team depending on if you look at how last year turned out and if they're healthy, how this team could definitely bounce back and make a run. So stay away from the win total. Pretty much all the bets on the 49ers right now we're staying away from. With that being said, why can they win the NFC? Well, Kyle Shanahan, we know he's a great coach, great offensive mind. He has his flaws, but at the same time, this guy's proven it again and again. He can get a lot out of an offense with limited resources. And this year, if this team stays healthy, they're not going to have limited resources. They'll get Brandon Ayuk back at some point. Trent Williams will be back healthy for the beginning of the season. McCaffrey should be back healthy for the beginning of the season. Brock Purdy, as we mentioned, they loved this guy, locked him up, long-term contract. He got paid. And on defense, they brought back Robert Salah, which is a big get for them. Bringing back the DC, he was in San Francisco before, helped build that elite defense. And it's definitely going to help out help them on the defensive side of the ball, where they really struggled last year on defense. They blew a lot of games earlier in the season, and they did they went into the draft and really focused on adding to the depth of that defense. They brought in edge Mikael Williams, first-round pick out of Georgia, added a few other key defensive players as well. And talking about schedule, so they do, I mean, you can look at strength of schedule in a bunch of different ways, and they by far have the number one easiest schedule this year. I mean, across the board, they get to play. Obviously, their division is going to be better. I think the Cardinals will be better. The Rams are going to be solid once again. Seahawks, iffy. But they do face the AFC South, the NFC South, the Browns, the Giants, and the Bears. That's their schedule. All right, they're going to be favored once again in most of their games. They have the back-to-back stretch against the Rams and the Bucs, week 5 and 6, where they're going to be probably road dogs. Might flip to a favorite. It's pretty close, but other than that, man, they're favorites across the board the rest of the year in all of their games. Plus, their rest edge is also in their favor as well. They were the most injured team in the league last year by a wide margin. Look for a bit of injury luck regression there. If they can keep some guys healthy. They did lose a few guys too, so a couple negatives here. If they do get crushed by injuries again, then I don't think this team truly has the depth. Maybe they will. Maybe some of these rookies they drafted will step up, but they could be in trouble again. They lost a few key defenders as well. Dre Greenlaw, Various Ward, and Tanaloa Hufanga went over to Denver, their safety. And, this is a team where they were in their Super Bowl window, and it kind of looked like it closed last year. And we're going to find out pretty quick if that window truly is closed and this team needs to start working on a rebuild here. Once again, staying away, just too much variance here. We don't know what team we're going to get this year. I expect them. I'm confident that they will bounce back and they will contend for the NFC West title. If they have enough to get through a playoff, I don't know. So staying away here at the current number. But one we're going to monitor. Next up, Washington Commanders. It's a team we love as well. How could you not? This team's so fun. They're sitting pretty consistent around plus 850, plus 900. We have them at closer to 1,100. About the same price we had the Niners. Win total's at 9.5. We have them at 9.1. And obviously, this is a team everybody loves. Very trendy after what they did in the postseason last year. That incredible run to the NFC Championship. Daniels' rookie season. And why can this team win the NFC? Well, obviously, Jaden Daniels. If he can build upon last year and he avoids that dreaded year 2 slump where teams have tape and they start to figure things out, well, it didn't help teams in the postseason, that's for sure. So if Jaden Daniels can continue to improve, take that step forward in year 2, then this team obviously is going to be right back in the thick of things and could win this NFC. They did have added a few offensive pieces. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Added Debo. Yeah, Debo should be solid. I don't know if he moves the needle too much. Laramie Tunsil at left tackle, obviously pretty good get for the offensive line. And really overall, man, this is a new team, new culture, new ownership, a lot of momentum from last year, and that momentum should carry over into this season. And like I said, the NFC is wide open. They don't have that super elite top tier at the QB position, and Jaden Daniels could be that guy. He could come in and take that spot, though. Would not surprise me. Some negatives, why won't they win the NFC this year? The schedule is a little bit more difficult, especially the strength of the defenses they play compared to last year, and the number 1 increase in defense difficulty faced this year. Jaden Daniels could take a step back in year 2. He could fall into that year 2 slump. If that happens, this team revolves around him, and they'd be in trouble. Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, okay running backs, but I mean, I wouldn't say they have any significant playmakers at running back. Terry McLaurin, contract issues. He's still not signed. I think he's at camp, kind of hanging out, doing a hold in, as they call it. That's an issue. They need Terry McLaurin on the field. They can't afford to miss one of their key offensive weapons going into this season. And I mean, there's some regression here as well. I mean, they did have the best 4th down conversion rate in the history of the league last year, 87%. That's insane. That'd be very difficult to repeat. I'm assuming they'll continue to stay aggressive, but due for a little bit of regression there. I think they still have questions on the defensive side of the ball overall. I don't think they really went out and improved that defense in the offseason. I mean, we do have Dan Quinn, defensive head coach, but they're going to need to be able to get stops, especially in January if they want to make a run, especially if you're facing potentially the Lions, the Eagles, if this Niners offense is humming, even the Packers, as we'll talk about. So yeah, we're staying away from the Commanders. Same thing here. I mean, they're the trendy team. They could be another one that we look to get on later on in the season. And if they get in the playoffs, once again, they're scary. It's a team you're not going to want to face in January. But right now, staying away from the Commanders. Then at number 5, we got the Packers sitting anywhere from plus 950 to plus 1100. So this one, we actually do see a little bit of value at that big number. If you can find the plus 1100, we have this at plus 1050 is what we project here as the good price. True. So there is slight value there. I think there still is 1100 hanging around if you can find it. That's one that we did bet. We did bet a couple of things here for the Packers. Win the NFC at plus 1100. We saw value there. And also at the divisional price, had them at, our true odds is plus 260. We got it at plus 275. Biggest numbers we can find out there. Still hanging around for the Packers. This is a team I love. This is my equivalent to the Chargers in the AFC. Team that, man, Jordan Love was banged up most of the year. They got hurt again in the playoff game where they were really competing with the Eagles in that wild card round. Fortunately, Jordan Love got banged up. I think if he stays healthy in that game, I think it's a much different game and they have a shot to pull the upset there. They still won 11 games last year in a very tough division. We know the Lions and the Vikings both won 15 games last season, and they still came out in 11 even with the injuries. They have the receiving core, picked up 2 more receivers in the draft this year, Matthew Golden, Savion Williams. We know Jordan Reed, Christian Watson's still out. I'm not sure when he's coming back. Romeo Dobbs, a couple of the young guys in this team as well. Got veteran Josh Jacobs will be back. Had a great season last year, backed up by Marshawn Lloyd. Got some depth at running back there. Continuity at head coach and OC once again. I mean, I think Matt LaFleur is one of the most underrated coaches in the league, and schedule's not as bad as it was last year. They do face a slightly easier schedule of defenses this year, so this offense will, I think, be able to improve. Their secondary was a strength last year, and they went out. They did lose Jair Alexander, who's on the tail end of his career, but they did bring in Nate Hobbs to play corner, which is a big get. I actually just saw Nate Hobbs today. Some breaking news. Had meniscus surgery. So expect him to be back by the beginning of the season, but not too worried there. And then, NFC North and NFC in general is wide open. I mean, Vikings have questions at quarterback. Overall, I mean, diving into this Vikings team, I'm not going to lie. This team is pretty stacked as far as like overall talent and depth of the roster goes, but questions with J.J. McCarthy. We don't know what we're going to get out of this guy. It's a team that we can't be on right now. Bears, question marks in Chicago as well. Bringing in Ben Johnson. I think the Bears are going to be better, but once again, coming down to a second-year QB and Caleb Williams. And then we talked about the Lions already, so I think this division's wide open for the Packers. O-line's great as well. Aaron Banks at guard from San Francisco, the boosted up there, their offensive line, which is already stout. And then just a few quick reasons why they won't win the NFC. They need to be more aggressive. I mentioned Matt LaFleur's an underrated coach. Diving into the numbers here, their 4th down conversion rate last year, and the number of times they actually went for it on 4th down compared to some of these other teams like the Lions, Commanders. Like they need to improve on not only 4th down play calling, but also just being more aggressive. Like overall as an offense. Also, only 5-5 in 1-score games last year. They're going to have to turn a couple of those 1-score games into W's if they want to win this division. I think they can, but close games kind of hurt them last year. And then just overall consistency. Like Jordan Love he's a really good quarterback in my opinion, but at the same time, he hasn't quite propelled himself into that great, potentially elite tier, which I think he could do this year. If 1, he can stay healthy, and 2, he can just be more consistent with his throws, be more accurate, and just take that step forward. This is his 3rd year as a starter. I think like 5th or 6th in the league, actually. And this is a big year for him. He's got to take that next step. He's got to prove that he belongs in that top tier of just NFC quarterbacks for this team to make a run, which I think he can do. So yeah, final verdict. We did make 2 bets on the Packers. We got plus 1,100 to win NFC and to win the division at plus 275. And the reason for that is I think the NFC is wide open. That number's good. And it comes down to Jordan Love taking that next step, being consistent and propelling himself into that top tier QB status, which I think he can do. And I think this team can make a run. And that rounds out the top 5. So we'll touch on a few more teams here that are kind of just sitting out of the top 5. There's one more tier of teams kind of hanging around. That includes the Rams, the Buccaneers, and the Minnesota Vikings. Starting out with the Rams, Los Angeles Rams. They're at anywhere from plus 1,000. I think, yeah, it's the biggest number you can get on the Rams right now. We have them at plus 1,100, just right the price, around the price we had at Green Bay. And plus 160 to win the division. second favorite behind San Francisco. Win total is 9.5, and had a solid season last year. They started off really slow. I think they were 1-3 to start the year. Started to get healthier down the stretch and made the playoffs and took the Eagles to the limit in the divisional round game. And they can win the NFC. Well, Sean McVay and Mike LaFleur. Consistency, continuity on the offensive side of the ball. And they added Devontae Adams to replace Cooper Kupp. Added another playmaker at tight end with Terrence Ferguson. I just saw today they signed Kyron Williams to a 3-year contract, paid him one of the top 10 highest paid running backs in the league now. Solid offensive line. I think it's probably in the middle of the league, but this team's going to be able to put up points. It's all going to come down to health, though. The schedule's not too bad. They can win this division. The running game's going to have to improve. Pass defense, there's still some question marks in the secondary. Pass defense definitely going to have to improve. O-line depth's a problem, too. If they sustain some injuries, O-line situation can get ugly pretty quick. Stafford's health, we already know he's sitting out the preseason. They say he's going to be ready with the back issue by the start of the season, but he's not getting any younger. And I don't know if they want to rely on Jimmy G coming in here and trying to help him win games throughout the season. We know how Devontae Adams feels about Jimmy G. He doesn't want to see him on the field. I know this Rams team doesn't as well. I don't know, maybe Stetson Bennett can step up, take that second string role. We'll see. And the division should be better. I mean, I think San Francisco will be back. They're not going to be another 6-win team this year. They'll compete for the division title. Arizona could be sneaky good. Seattle's never going to be an easy out. There's going to be some challenges for the Rams. This is a stay away from for us. I'm not going to count out Stafford and McVay if they can stay healthy with this young defensive line that can get to the quarterback. They got playmakers they've drafted the past couple of years that can step up. They should have a really good defense overall. But yeah, still some just question marks with age and health and durability of Stafford. This is a stay away for us. Tampa Bay sitting here as well, anywhere from plus 1,300 to plus 1,700. Basically tied with Minnesota in this next spot. They are the heavy favorite to win the NFC South. They're at 9.5 wins. We have them at 9.2, so would lean under there. Could be some value in the Bucs, depending on what price you get. We have them at plus 1,350, so if you can get something better than that, I mean, I thought I saw plus 1,700, which is pretty crazy. Could be a number to bounce on, but another stay away from us for us here. Overall, they are in one of the weaker divisions. I think the Panthers will be better. Falcons, depending on Michael Penix, could make a run at the division as well. Saints, we know, going to be very bad. So schedule is a little softer for them. Offense should be just as good as they were last year. They added Emeka Egbuka. They should get Chris Godwin back healthy at some point. We know Bucky Irvin stepped up as a rookie season last year. Very dynamic running back behind a really good O-line. Baker keeps getting better, it seems like. Now experience, he has the confidence, and they shouldn't skip a beat on offense this year. Although they did lose Liam Cohen, lost another offensive coordinator. That's what I saw a stat today. 7 or 8 different offensive coordinators, play callers for Baker throughout his career that he's had to work with. But not too concerned with a veteran quarterback like him. And the defense, there are going to be some questions on the defense overall. I mean, they weren't great last year. They added Son Reddick, who had a disappointing season last year in New York. Could be due for a bounce back, but outside of that, this team had a ton of problems stopping the pass last year, and they could get challenged from the Falcons. And I do like this Panthers team this year. I'm not saying they're going to make a playoff or win the division, but they're going to be very feisty if they can build off that momentum that they ended the year with last year. So Bucs as well at this price. Like I said, if you're more bullish on the Bucs and you can find a good price over plus 1,400, if that's still out there. This line did move down, I believe. So it's getting cheaper, which is not a great sign for me. Definitely staying away from this Bucs team. I don't think they have the horses to make an actual run at the NFC. The Minnesota Vikings, this is a team I actually love, but at the same time, just can't put any money on right now. If you look at this roster, I mean, top to bottom, I think they have one of the best overall rosters in the NFC, right up there with the Eagles. The problem is we don't know what we're going to get from J.J. McCarthy, which is a big issue. We know Kevin McConnell can work magic with his QBs. He's done it time and time again. I mean, look what he did with Sam Darnold last year. We know the receiving core has the talent. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. They added some depth on the running back side, adding Jordan Mason behind Aaron Jones. O-line, one of the best in the league. And on defense, Brian Flores. This team was number 1 in takeaways, 4th in sacks last year. They added pieces on defense as well. And overall, one of the best front sevens in the entire league, right up there with Philadelphia, as I mentioned, the NFC. Are due for some regression, though. They were 10-1 in one-score games last year. And this is, not going to be a 14-win team again next year. That's safe to say. But It's all going to depend on JJ. The schedule defenses they play is more difficult. The schedule overall is not too bad. It's very manageable. So this is a wait for us. So we have them at plus 1,700. You can get plus 1,500. So it's kind of out of our price range. And once again, I really want to see JJ McCarthy win a few games before I buy in. If they can get competent QB play, I mean, they may not even need Sam Darnold level play from last year with this team. Then yeah, we may be buyers on Minnesota at some point, especially since we have the Packers already. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm not sold on JJ, but Kevin McConnell he's a miracle worker when it comes to QBs. So it would not surprise me if this dude puts up numbers and wins some ball games up in Minnesota. So and that rounds it out, man. So behind Minnesota, I mean, got the Bears hanging around. We know Ben Johnson coming in. A lot's going to depend on Caleb Williams. They did add some pieces. Their offensive line got way better. Defense also very solid. Bears are an interesting one, sitting at plus 1,900. Boys, dysfunction, man. I mean, my biggest comparison to the Cowboys is probably the Bengals in the AFC, a team that you would think you could trust to make a decent run. They're sitting at plus 2,200. Like, the market does not love the Cowboys this year. And neither do I. Stay away from us for us. Cardinals plus 2,800, Seahawks plus 2,800, and then Falcons 3,500. There's some Saints to round out the NFC. But yeah, man, that's it. NFC is gonna be a fun one overall. I think this conference is wide open. I think out of the 8 teams that we broke down today, I think there's probably 5 or 6 that could make the Super Bowl, and it would not surprise me. The next, we're close. We're getting so close to the start of football season. We got, today's August 5th. This podcast will drop tomorrow, August 6th. And then from there, we got, about 2 weeks or so until, I think it's the 23rd. So about 2.5 weeks, we will be watching college football. Next week is going to be a hybrid type show. We're going to kind of go review the futures we have locked in so far in both college and NFL. And that will lead us up into 2 weeks from now. We're going to dive into week 0 college football. Throughout, we may dive into some preseason bets as well, or any early NFL bets we may be on. And then from there, we have all of our episodes are going to be weekly breakdowns. We're going to do recaps of all of the bets we made, what went right, what went wrong, what did we learn. And then we're going to look at the week ahead. Some bets we're on early in the week, some ones we're eyeing up. And then the rest of the week, follow us on the Action Network app, follow us on the socials. We'll be dropping leans, bets, picks, what we're on, what we're staying away from, why. We're going to be all in the NFL and college football betting landscape throughout the entire season. So stay tuned there. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're gearing up. Next couple of weeks are going to be a lot of fun too. We finally get some real football on August 23rd. Got a handful of week 0 games, and then NFL kicks off in less than a month now. September 4th, opening night, Cowboys Eagles. So here we go. With that being said, folks, once again, if you do like the show, if you want to support the team here, help keep this going, feel free to rate and subscribe the podcast. Follow us on the socials. All the social media platforms. Also subscribe to the Substack, the newsletter comes out every week too. And man, with that being said, till next week, good bets, good times. Cheers.